Hi everyone, good evening. Today at the CX Roundtables, we have D2C Playbook, Journey from Marketplace to D2C by BetterCommerce, moderated by Mr. Ved Agarwal, CRO BetterCommerce. Hello sir. We have Pradeep Krishna Kumar, co-founder and CEO of Zook, Prajakta Rathe, AVP Digital Marketing, MyGlamm, Rajeshwar Rao, VP Digital Marketing, Clovia, Rajgopal Nayak, CTO, Metro Brands Limited, Saurabh Gupta, founder and director, Kalki Fashion, and Mr. Ved Agarwal, head marketing, True Elements. I'll be handing it over to the moderator to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. First of all, thank you everyone for joining this roundtable conference. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on this topic of D2C Playbook. Now, before we even get started with the topic, I want to share why when we're discussing of what topic we should talk about and who we should invite. The thought was many D2C brands basically wants to start the journey at different stages, and they start at different stages when it comes to India ecosystem. So one of the common thread that we have seen happening in India is from marketplace, they start the journey, they basically then go to online, their presence, and then they basically go to offline. And with most of the retailer, what we have seen is there's always some difficulty in balancing out the equation of how they basically balance out marketplace versus the brand store, probably when to start offline and how to start offline. Those are the key elements that needs to be understood. And that's where the focus was of can we get people to speak about it and to understand what value proposition can be created for an aspiring D2C brands. So with that, what I want to do is to start the first question for the roundtable is, what do you think is a marketplace? When do you think a brand or D2C brands should start a marketplace? My question is for Pradeep.
Okay. Yeah. So, and very frankly, I think the three aspects that I would consider while answering this. And I think top of the one is of course customer acquisition cost. And hence this answer to this question has been varying in the last 5 to 10 years itself. Right? In fact, 5 years I would say. I'll start with how Zoop did it and then talk about sort of how new brands can do it. Because I think fundamentally the answer can be different now. We started first with doing a lot of pop-up exhibitions, etc. So purely offline, right? With the idea of saying that this is only going to scale up to so much. So we did that for a year, tried out different things, including most importantly the product, the pricing, what features works, what doesn't work, etc. And then one fine day, right, we shut it down completely, saying अब से हम pop-ups नहीं करेंगे, right? And it's easy to do when we do that because we don't have a store, no lease, no deposit, no nothing, no capex, etc. Right? And we shifted completely to online. And in online, we started with D2C, which is own website. Right? D2C actually is just direct to consumer. So nothing says D2C is website only, but D2C online means at least own website. With the idea of again testing out few things, including products, the brand story, what we stand for, does that resonate with the consumer base, the pricing, etc., etc. And then after a certain scale where we felt that we had built a brand for ourselves very early, right? I mean, we were talking into Metro, such a large brand, and we were very young, right? So it's still getting started. Right? So that's when we felt a little bit more comfortable going into the marketplace and selling over there. Primarily to say that we want the consumer to have bought a Zoop bag from Amazon rather than saying I bought this bag from Amazon, and that's different, right? Because at the end of the day, this is our life's work. We want to create a large brand. We're not building it for 3 years, 5 years or whatever. So to establish the brand name, hence we said we will leverage sort of our own website and then do it. Right? From the last sort of 1.5 years to now, things have changed a lot because for you to be doing the D2C brand journey, you have to spend a ton of money on Facebook, Instagram, etc. Spending money is not a problem, right? But your customer acquisition cost, this cost of acquiring that one customer for that one order, right, has changed dramatically in this time. And hence, today if somebody asks me what would you do, right, you would still do what we did in terms of brand building, leveraging sort of Instagram or YouTube to build that out. But marketplaces, you definitely get cheaper acquisition, right? And hence, if you want to take a more capital efficient way of getting started, you could use a combination of Instagram and YouTube to build your brand presence, right? And you could acquire customers, paying customers who are buying your product on marketplaces as well, while you slowly build your D2C side of things online. Offline is a completely different sort of game.
What's your take on this?
Okay, so we are a primarily offline retailer even today, right? And hello. Hello. So we are primarily an offline retailer even today, right? Where 90% of our sales is offline.
Yeah.
Now that being said, we actually started our online journey way back, I think in 2016, right? And so after initial hits and misses or experiential learning, as one might say so, things really have transformed in the last 2 years, wherein from roughly just under 2% of online sales, today close to 10% of our total revenue is from the online piece. And that being said, the marketplace is still a larger chunk of the online sales that are there today. And we operate 4 e-commerce websites under the name of Metro, Mochi, Walkway and FitFlop. While business is also zooming over there, the key trend that we are seeing is in the area of omnichannel, where historically we used marketplaces for discounted products and for vintage stock, if I may say so. Right? More and more we are realizing through Omni, right? There's a lot of full price sale that is happening.
Right.
Okay, and in this day and age, if people are willing to buy full price on a marketplace or on your website, I mean, what else would one ask for? Right. So our journey has been in the reverse direction for us, and we still see a strong growth factor as far as omni sales are concerned. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, just a following question on that to Ved and to you again. There is a growing notion when it comes to marketplace, and I would come back to you as well on the same thing, is you don't own the data of your customer when it comes to marketplace sale. And in terms of building your brand, at the end of the day, the two important factors, that is repeat rate and your brand loyalty. Obviously, your brand loyalty is also measured using the repeat rate. Now, plus there is a lot of discrepancy when it comes to selling the product, fake product probably, promoting some other product, and again cannibalizing on your listings as well. So these are some of the challenges that brands face. Now, one of the notion is when a D2C brand starts the marketplace journey, let's say, because the CAC is low at the end of the day, that's the most important reason. Moving to building a brand to their own store becomes really difficult because they don't have a customer base. In that sense, because I guess before the session we were speaking and we were an advocate of marketplace. So I wanted your opinion of what do you think about that?
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, right? And I'll pick from both Pradeep and Raj. So I think D2C करने के पहले, I think it's important for the brand to know why is the brand doing D2C. Right? So for example, what role does that website play? Is it an acquisition channel? Is it a retention channel? Is it a channel for advocacy? Is it, so I think once you define the role that the channel, that website needs to play, you'll be sharper. And the other lens that I want to just put on the table is, especially for D2C where brands are much smaller than the behemoths, etc. You want to reduce friction points, right? So, अभी आप एक नए brand हो like True Elements, ठीक है? आप एक customer को जाके बोल रहे हो, I'm a new brand and buy me from trueelements.com, which is a new website. So you created 2 friction points. Right? In the early days of your brand life, you might want to optimize on lower friction points, and hence we also had a bias to doing more marketplace. Because we saw in D2C.com today when the customer is probably doing his first purchase or second purchase is not really changing my life. In addition to CACs that you obviously mentioned, right? Today, when I know that I go to about X lakh households every month, if I can get some bit of them through my website, it's good. What I also think sometimes, what we also think sometimes is that can the third or the fourth purchase of the same consumer now come from my website? Right, so that's really how we are breaking that whole piece out in terms of migration from one to the other. And the question that you asked was, how's the journey been from moving from marketplace to D2C? So, even today we don't really over-index on D2C. D2C is actually less than 2% of our entire business, and 85% of our business is online, right? So D2C is a really, really small chunk. But going forward, again, we've defined a role for D2C, which is that third purchase onwards, can we get the guy to come to our website and buy, and hence build the whole retention channel through. So I think that's the real way probably you can think about it. And as far as lookalikes and fake products, all of that, for smaller brands, I think that's a smaller challenge to. We don't really face that issue.
Got it. Perfect. So in your opinion, basically, that's something that the new brands can live with for
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for like CACs, and Pradeep has mentioned CACs, but if I have to talk to you about consumer product and food, if you do your marketplaces smartly and well, and you have your learning curve, you can maybe do you can do it at maybe 1/4 the cost if you do it. Your CACs can be almost 70% lower if you do it on marketplaces.
Got it.
But the CACs is not the only thing. Marketplace. They have another pocket to sort of make money out of you any which way. But it's all going to add up.
Right. I completely understand. Going to you, Prajakta. So I have a very close relation with MyGlamm, by the way. So I used to work for MyGlamm long back. So what do you think? What's the role of marketplace? And in the journey of MyGlamm, what do you think you expect out of marketplace? Is it more acquisition, or is it lower CAC probably, or just the top of the funnel, or no?
Obviously business, right? So, but the objective of being hardcore D2C, right? We have 6 brands. There were 3 brands which were not present on as D2C. That is the Momsco, then there is Organic Harvest, and then there is Saint Botanica. All the 3 brands were very heavy on marketplace when we acquired them. And when we now, have launched them in 6 months on D2C, they are at par with marketplace. So the reason of having a strong D2C and the focus on D2C is control. Having that control over data, over my customers, over the offers, over the kind of products, over the inventories that I want to sell, the exclusivity, if that may be, right? That is what we are and we have been focusing on, and we want to grow as much as possible because all of our brands have apps, right? So app adoption was also one of our key focus when we started. That was in last year 2021 in August, and that was just for MyGlamm. And we saw that as a success. We replicated it for other brands as well, and now all of the 6 brands have their apps. So we want that control.
Yeah,
we can't be dependent, because every time I have that meeting with marketplaces and other things, and I'm like, okay, this is a black. I mean, obviously everything is a black hole. Okay, by the way, Facebook is also a black hole, and Google is also now becoming that. So that control is what we as business, owners and the stakeholders, we really miss that. We really want to have that control, and that's what D2C gives us. So therefore, I feel that when we started and even right now we are on that journey, we want to build more and more, more and more D2C.
Right.
Be very hardcore there, then marketplaces.
That makes sense, and I think MyGlamm, even Clovia for that matter, has a very good content-led strategy, I guess, when it comes to penetrating the market. So when it comes to, let's say, the distribution, what sort of distribution do you think the marketplace versus D2C, a brand like Clovia would expect, or any new brand should have?
Yeah. So, our journey was different, when we started way back in 2015. So the term D2C didn't exist, right? And also we were digital first, and we were, of course, own web store first, right? Because we wanted to build product range basis feedback and iterative. So that's when we thought, we'll have our own e-commerce store from the day one. And in parallel, since we are building a great product, so then the challenge which we faced was, in fact, which we got from the field research was, so in the market there were lesser number of options available when it comes to fits and styles, right? And there was a disconnect between what customer wanted then and the offerings available in the market, right? So that's when we thought, we'll come up with a great product. And the best option which we have is, you can get first party data from the customers, then there itself, right, to the own store.
So you started with online first and then went to.
To be precise, we started both in parallel.
Okay.
So in fact, 2-3 months. So we started marketplace 2-3 months prior to our own brand. So because building a own market store has its own challenges, right? Right from tech to so many other aspects, right? So it happened like that. So once we kind of came up with this kind of model where we collect. So over a period of time, we collected about 140 million data points. Which helps us in kind of understanding fits, body types, and types and preferences across the country, right? So there's vast, right? Every part of India, body shape gets changed, right? So we got all this first party information, over a period of time. Accordingly, we used to make products, all this feedback. And what we do is, so whenever we come with a product, so we kind of make, initial story about 150-200 kind of inventory. So once we get the feedback, if the feedback is good, we have the feedback score, right? If the feedback is good, it's more than 8 or 9. So then we kind of go for replenishment on a larger scale, So otherwise, if there are any issues as such, we kind of fix these issues, and then we kind of come up with newer product options, and again, the cycle goes on, So like I said, when we started this, so for marketplace was easy for us because that time entry barriers were very low, because there were less number of players there, and so we easily penetrated the market, right? And yes, so the only difference is so what we so we have a perspective, right? The commission we should give it to the marketplace, the marketing spend we should do on our own brand store. It's more or less the same, right? So now we pay 40% commission to the to all the marketplaces. So marketing cost is also the same. So it makes absolute sense for us. Push both the channels, and we keep one thing in mind: we'll have to be profitable on both the channels. So we'll have to maintain those unit economics. So that's the basic objective which we have.
That's a very good point, because as unit economics, I think, because fashion, I guess, is a very different ball game. Yeah. What do you think, Saurabh? It comes to marketplace, because we have a customer in UK with Forever Unique, which is into fast fashion as well.
Okay.
Their philosophy is that for our customer, they need to feel the product and they need an exclusive experience to buy. They don't, because it's a impulse buying at times, so it doesn't happen on Amazon on marketplaces. So is it true for your brand as well? Or?
So I'll tell you our journey, how it's been. So we started with the offline. First we were offline, and then we started our own website. That was again through customer feedback and essentially through NRI customers. So they wanted to have the brand presence. How they can buy back home when they come for shopping. So we specialize in bridal wear and occasion wear and celebration wear. So this is our category in fashion, which is in the ethnic area. So it was started with that feedback. Our focus was international market, how we can make our product available for international clients. And we started working, what do they require, what kind of special things they require, so that they can finalize a garment which essentially people want to touch and feel. So customers became our, the word of mouth spread, because they had when they come down to India and they would shop, and then they would go back, they are comfortable with the quality, then it's easy for them to buy. So we just had to crack the measurement part of it. How can we ensure that there is maximum satisfaction over there? Then in COVID, actually we got a big tailwind, and so our India market, so we became the option because we were prevalent for a long time. Not many players were there in this field. So we became an option to buy because people could not go to the offline store. So we benefited a lot from that, even though it was sad that all this happened. But it helped us to understand the Indian market more and realize the potential of what we have in India itself. So actually we realized that it's not, it's like a way that if once you've created a brand and you have created a promise, if you sold your story well, then it is not that difficult to convince a customer into the product, because now all policies are available, you can return the product, so you just need to tell your story well to be able to sell online. So the last 2 years, we almost like 60% of our sales is online now.
Wow.
So that answers to your question, like you need to feel the product. So we changed the dynamics over there. And our growth plan before COVID was primarily offline, but we got a great response in online, and from our website itself. So we were not on marketplace. Way back in 2015-16, we tried the marketplace, but I don't think that time the market was so mature to buy a 10,000 average order value product from online. So we discontinued in a very short period of time over there, and now we've understood the market. We know what sells, what is the challenges and everything through our website, and we mastered that. What color combinations or what can attract a customer so that the purchase can happen online. Now going to the marketplace. So we recently tried and now we're trying and experimenting with a marketplace strategy. So obviously we are not showcasing all our products in marketplace because maximum of our products need an explanation, need some kind of feature explanation, which is possible on our website only. It's not possible through marketplace. So you need a support to help the customer out with their doubts and queries. So that's not possible. So we've identified some product lines which can be easily done on marketplace. So our intention for going on marketplace is to get a good reach, get increased reach, and probably a cheaper form of balance our advertising spend, get something like that, and maybe become a discovery platform. Like marketplace could be a discovery platform for customers who could eventually come to our website to spend a little more. Like the average order value on the marketplace is very low compared to what we have. So on our online platform. So once they discover, so I think creating a brand first, because on the marketplace, especially in our category, there's so much clutter. There are so many products, but very few brands. So if you've created a brand and then you go on marketplace, so you get a little better result. So it will, even if it's selling on marketplace, it's good for us. But it diverts if the recall comes on the marketplace and the customer could end up buying on your website. So that way, it's that's what we are trying to achieve right now. Also, making use of their fulfillment, process, because the marketplaces have such a great, the delivery time and service that is a little difficult to match. Right, so they can deliver you within the next few hours or the next morning. The product. So getting those 5-star rating on your products without any service hindrance is a good way to increase your brand awareness. And
No, makes sense, makes sense. So if I have to ask you for Metro, let's say what is one factor that why consumer buy a product from Amazon and not from the store or the site, what would that be?
So in fact, we always prefer if the customer walks into the store, right? Because footwear is something that one might look at the look and feel of the look of it, but the feel of it only comes when you wear it, right? So that's why you'll also see that returns for store purchases are less than 1%, and typically they might find some defect, right? But it's never from an experiential point of view. Return. That is not true when things are bought online. So then, what is the plus side of being online? Retail space is expensive in this country, right? And there's only so much that you can put on the visual merchandising bit. None of these constraints are there when you list online, right? So that is one of the major gains over there. When you're browsing online, this is how you are browsing. Let's say you go for Browns. There's a queue saying that possibly a person is looking for that particular shade. So one can always tailor make the experience to go more deeper into that particular area. Such kind of experience is not possible at a store, right? So there are pros and cons to each.
Right. But if you have to choose one, let's say for example, why people are buying on Amazon, let's say Metro products, what is something that you can think of? Probably low cost, or probably better discounts, or better product variety, probably, or could be better logistics.
If you ask me, it will primarily be the brand recall, Metro brands. Right? Because when you go on Amazon, the sky is the limit, right? Anybody can list.
Right.
Right? And only increase in that particular direction. So how do you stand out in the amongst the clutter? It's only the brand and the past experience recall that one has. Thank you.
And how about Claudia? What do you think? Primary reason of consumer buying from marketplaces than your own stores?
Offline you're talking about, or
Online stores or offline stores. So when people are buying, let's say from Amazon,
Flipkart, always
window shopping.
And when it comes to discovery is great on marketplace, right? And of course, I mean, so in certain areas maybe shipping is faster,
Shipping.
right? And one more thing is trust factor. When you're not a big brand, when it's just entering the market, so that time buying it from the own store, you'll have some trust issues, right? But when you buy it from Amazon or Flipkart, let's say, so you have the trust element, right? So that could be one reason, yeah.
Perfect. And for MyGlamm, what do you think?
Online, D2C versus marketplace, right?
So yeah, why consumer basically prefer marketplace probably over the brand store themselves? So.
For us, D2C is actually higher. But if a user, generally buys on marketplace, it could be because of the price point and the discounts. However, D2C is more aggressive than in marketplaces. But I think that is the primary reason that a user buys from marketplaces.
Got it. And Ved.
So I think we've actually covered it. I think trust is, for any new brand, I think trust is a big friction point, and that buying from a known website solves for. I think pricing, you can still be competitive, you can have your marketplace and your D2C do the same thing, but I think finally it boils down to customer experience, which could be a function of speed and trust. यार नहीं पसंद आया तो इधर Amazon तो कर ही देगा, करेंगे नहीं करेंगे, फोन उठाएंगे नहीं उठाएंगे, बहुत सारी चीजें वो आ जाती हैं. So I think for a new brand, I think that's important. That possibly is one of the factors.
That makes sense. And Pradeep, you want to add anything to this?
No, I think again, one is of course brand trust, which is a new brand. Right? Like for us also, D2C is the largest channel. Right? And from brand trust perspective, लोग आजकल इतना research कर लेते हैं to find what they want to buy, etc. They go, they see, okay, these guys have 200k followers on Instagram, seems like a genuine brand and all of that. I think the primary reason what we figured out why people buy from Amazon is the speed of delivery. Right? I think that's something which if a brand like ours needs to match, the cost is prohibitively high compared to what they get in terms of logistics, etc. That's why somebody chooses another. And quite frankly, we feel that it shouldn't matter. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, a brand like Port was also built primarily on marketplace. Right? And I mean, what they did was to say, we build a great brand, right? And then we be where the customer is, right? And then people are going to choose us. Right? And once they choose us, platforms are going to push because they make money when the sale happens, nothing else.
Right.
And so I think that's totally fine.
So, perfect, that makes sense. Now, in this journey of where, let's say the brand has started on marketplace, like getting some good mileage, what are the key differentiators or KPIs a brand should or D2C brand should do before opening their own brand store? Or at what stage do you think the brand store makes sense for any new D2C company? Because it comes with its own challenge, right? I mean, you have to manage everything, your logistics, your warehousing, everything has to be managed by the brand themselves. So at what stage do you think this makes sense?
KPIs, right? So one is, I mean, of course, profitability, like I said, every channel, every retail partner, be it offline, I mean, or your own brand store or marketplace. I mean, like I said, it has to be profitable and sustainable, of course. And so what we should do is every business function we are into, right? We'll have to derive some ROI out of it. So be it, I mean, creative team or content team, or catalog team for the matter. So we have to have some KPIs like, I mean, it is creative team, let's say. So they should have KPIs like CTRs, and so on, open rate and so on and so forth. And if you talk about catalog team, they have to get Q3 rates and so on and so forth. Accordingly, and everything will eventually boil down to sales, right? So all these soft KPIs will eventually boil down to sales, therefore profitability. So that's what we do, I mean, when it comes to marketplace or I mean, our own store as such, our own brand store.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so do you have any points on that? Or when a brand should start their own store?
So I feel that in marketplace sometimes scaling might become difficult because the number of products keep on getting added. So when you reach that point where, and also it depends on the product. So if the product does not have any differentiating factor and the process and the product has very minimum differentiation, then it's better to stick to the marketplace environment and then try to build a brand a little bit outside. You can use various mediums or try to engage and try to build a brand. Then you can go on your D2C platform. But if you have a product where you can identify the differentiating factor in your product, then in terms of anything like probably like giving a little personalized angle to that, and then you can get the brand. Then you can go on to the D2C platform. So when you either you need a little bit of growth, or if you are having a long-term vision that you want to make a long-term strategy going, and for that I think the D2C success is very important because if you're not building, you're not concentrating on your brand, so then it becomes a little difficult. Like this long-term sustainability comes in a question mark.
So if
there is no brand loyalty getting developed in your marketplace, so that's my point.
Right, no, it makes sense. But so for example, if I'm a D2C brand today, and let's say I'm doing 50 lakhs a month, probably my GMV. So what is that factor or metric which I should monitor before I decide, okay, I want to jump into, let's say, building my brand now, because I've got some bottom line or top line, and that's where my focus, because it will require a lot of effort from your side, from the team and the focus. So what those factors could look like with.
Yeah, so I think again no right answer, but I'll tell you how we think about it. So I'm going to introduce 2-3 terms that some of us would know. One is obviously lifetime value, and the other is repeats, right? I think once you have visibility to, so I'm part of a category which gets consumed every month, and hence it's a big driver. The moment I start seeing this is the visibility I have on repeat. So for example, today True Elements has through FBA data we get it. So we have close to about 65% repeats, which is very very high, right? And our average order value is close to about 400, 500 rupees, right? So the moment I do this and I know this guy buys 4 times from the platform every year, right? Then that math starts adding up at an inflex point to say कि यार अब D2C build करो, क्योंकि अगर आपको देख रहा है कि यार एक बंदे को आप ले आते हो वो 4-5 बार लेता है साल में, you know, once you bring him in, maybe he's just coming to buy muesli now, but once he comes into your family, now that you have 200 products, you can cross sell and you can do all of that. So I think that's the tipping point. I think it's data visibility. Obviously, you know, that channel needs to be profitable, right? So CAC and all of that will obviously be big determinants. But I think the moment you have visibility to these unknowns, you can take a more informed decision. Like, you know, that's how we approached it. We said, when will we start amping up and who will we amp it up for? So we created our cohorts and we said, okay, these are, so supposing I break my consumer base into light users and heavy users, I said D2C is not for light users. D2C is for heavy users. Right? The guy who's buying you multiple times in a year, etc., etc. Usko leke aao andar and then now try to build the entire repeat advocacy retention channel. So I think it's somewhere there.
That's a good point. So on the other side, what does Metro? I mean, what do you suggest a brand should go if they're offline first, for example?
If they're offline first, they're really offline, right?
No, when do they have to go to the brand store or site? They should focus on the brand store site.
I would say in this day and age, if there is a offline player, right, pan India or local. If you're local, it's a no-brainer. You should have a brand site, right? And also be on third-party marketplaces, because believe me, third-party marketplaces, for the various reasons that have already been articulated, is where the majority of your sale happens. But if you're a localized player, right, and you are selling, let's say, on Amazon or whatever, what happens, one realizes that people will still give you more credibility if you have your own brand store. Right? That is how the human psyche works. Right? So that is point. If you are anyway already present all across the country, right? I think my previous answer covered that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But that being said, flipping it around, you know, if you are a D2C only brand, depends on the category of business that you are in. Okay, there are different reasons why one should look at having offline presence, right? If it's in a way a high consumption item like FMCG, etc., you know, your offline stores might be very useful if they are placed at locations wherein impulsive purchase happens. Malls, junctions, right? If I may use that word. Right? On the other hand, for other high value items, right? Let's take an Apple store or a Samsung store, right? One should focus on having signature stores wherein people come experience your product. Advantage, it's okay if they don't buy over there. Your returns will reduce because they have already had a glimpse of what is on
the product looks like.
That's right. Thank you.
Makes sense. So this brings to my last and the most important question, where I want everyone to give their thoughts and point of view of what the future would hold for D2C when it comes to balancing the equation between, let's say, offline, online, or marketplace. You know, so start with you.
So the right balance is to have exclusivity, I think, at least in terms of in our category. If we have certain products, a collection that is exclusive to D2C, users are going to come on D2C and buy. And at the same time, on marketplaces, we have certain, you know, collection that is only available on marketplace, and probably a very different collection for offline as well, right? So the balance there is to have exclusivity, because if we have to have sales on both the platforms, and you know, one can't be, you know, being more or higher than the other, and you want to have that right balance. Either you play it by discounts, okay, and otherwise you play it by, you know, exclusivity. And I think exclusivity will build in the longer run. Discount will be, there will be a saturation to that.
Right.
So exclusivity in the collection can help in balancing.
So that for the more for your brand stores, basically, you will have more exclusive collections to yourself. Your brand, let's say, store offline and online, And
Yeah, so exclusive to marketplace, exclusive to D2C, exclusive to. So there are 3 reasons why a user will go individually to each of those stores. So one will go to D2C just for that collection, right? And I would go to probably offline store because okay, this product is only available offline, so I'll have to buy only offline. So I'm compelling the user to buy that product only offline. I'm giving that choice, but multiple collections at each of these options.
so if I have to summarize it, it's like I'm present all 3 places. At the same time, I have some exclusivity on all 3 places of why people are buying or go to that place.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So, the way I look at it is, you can build a 100 crore brand in India in just D2C, own website. 100 to 300 crores the brand turn, you'll have to do D2C plus marketplace. 300 crore plus 2000 crore, 300 crore plus offline में जाना पड़ेगा. So this is the journey, right? Today nobody stops anybody from starting their own website. It's literally very easy, right? So starting your own website and most capabilities are the same. You need to take the photos for cataloging on marketplace, you need to do that on the website.
Right.
It's not like you don't have a warehouse and operations staff for managing marketplace orders. You can do the same with D2C. Right? It's just where do you focus from all points of view, right? In terms of marketing, in terms of ad spend, in terms of how do you decide pricing of a product? Which one gets the how do you decide, okay, Amazon gets better pricing or website gets better pricing, etc. Right? So I think being in 3 broad channels, it's only a question of how big your ambition is, right? As a brand. 0 to 100 crores, D2C बना सकते हो, 100 to 300 crores journey is marketplace driven as well if you're online first. And then 300 crore plus, I think it's very clear you have to be offline as well. So that's how I look at it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I'll start with how we approached it. So we obviously started with marketplace. I think everybody's got that big prominence of marketplace so far. And then what we also built parallelly was actually offline. So today we are available in close to about 15,000 retail stores across the country, which we've now realized has actually also become a equity driver for us. So earlier we were a brand which was only available on Amazon, but our bolte store pe bhi dikha tha. Maybe it's one in a few, right? But 15,000, that's helping us. Stage 3 is now focusing on D2C because we are saying that there is some equity which might lend itself to building this, right? The mental model with which we evaluate each is a cost to serve. We say cost to serve हर platform पर justify होना चाहिए, and now we think a D2C cost to serve is somewhere there because we have these first 2 chassis which are kind of fueling the third chassis. So that's roughly how we look at it. And as he said rightly, right, you actually have to do all these 3. And as she said, maybe each of them need to play their own roles. Like for example, today I have close to about 70 products, 240 SKUs. Like I can obviously list everything. But the reason my D2C will stand out is because I offer customization and curation on my website, which is not available on marketplaces, right? The reason I will sell on a retail store is because all my penetration packs, which are my 30 rupees packs, etc., which are ways in which people will identify and maybe discover my brand offline, where I'm sitting with the Kellogg's and the Quakers, etc. So I think each of them will do different roles based on the life stage of your brand and what is the metric that you're tracking.
Got it. So that's
So our approach was, like I said, started off with marketplaces and our own brand store at the same time. So the ratio was 50-50, right, when we started off. So initial 3 years we just focused on marketplace and our own brand store, right? And when we had a strong product price proposition, so that's when we thought we'll come up with offline stores. But then the thought we had was, so what will basically drive customers to come down to the offline stores when they have products available on our own website and marketplaces. So the answer is exclusivity, right? So then we thought we'll have exclusive range on our marketplaces, which is not available on the marketplaces or our own brand store. So the approach is entirely different. We have altogether different range for all the offline stores. The price is different, the product is different. So that is a very big motivation factor for the customers to come down to offline store and experience the product, right?
So will you say each marketplace or offline online has different AOVs?
Not all the three, but yes, I mean, marketplace and our own platform has same set of products, same range, let's say, but offline has its own range. Because operation can be very difficult to manage three different, ranges. Across all these different.
So is it more higher or lower than online?
So when it comes to average order, it's higher on, of course, on offline stores.
And that's true for Metro as well.
Sorry.
The average order value offline versus online.
Actually, offline will be more.
More, right?
Offline is more, yeah. And between, our own store and marketplace, of course, our own store average order is way higher. It's almost 3 times of marketplace.
No, makes sense.
Yeah.
So where do you see that on how to balance it out?
So, whichever city I go with my children, right? India, outside India, when they see a McDonald's, they want to go in. Right? There's a brand recall, there's experience.
Yes.
Fair enough. Right? So, if you take a step back, right? Wherever or whichever channel a person wants to buy, it is important for a brand to be present. Right? Certain channels will be more profitable, others may not be. But if you believe that there is customer loyalty, then you are doing a disservice to yourself and your customer by not being on a particular channel. Now, it is in our control how we want to play around with respect to product listing, to discounting, in order to motivate in a particular channel. But जो दिखता है वो दिखता है. If you are not there, you lose out.
You lose the customer.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That makes sense. So,
Yeah, so all three platforms channels are important, and all three have a different experience from our point of view. Like retail, we focus so much on engaging with the customer in a different manner, and even after they have bought, there's continuous engagement happening with the customer. We are selling emotions in the offline store, right? Online is then become with the offline experience, it becomes easy to buy online for us. The customer has that convenience. It becomes an additional touch point for the customer. So that experience of the offline helps in creating good sales online also. Now coming back to the marketplace again, that's another touch point we should have. Which provides even better convenience to the customer because they can return or buy or pay. They have the app already in their mobile, so it's very convenient versus some D2C brand. They might have to log in, fill the details, all those things. So for a product, so then that is the convenience of having something on the marketplace. For a customer, he is able to use the same channel for multiple products. So that touch point also is required. But you can obviously, you need both the other two, the offline and online, to continuously innovate and try out new products. Also to understand what the customer needs. So all that data, all that engagement, brand loyalty, sustainability all comes through the online and offline for us at least. Which is through our D2C platform. And marketplace is more like if you want to add the convenience for the first time purchase or discovery, we need to be present there to be discovered by a customer.
No, perfect, makes sense. So if I have to summarize, let's say if I'm a new D2C brand and I want to start my journey, so I'll say that I can start my journey anywhere, probably marketplace, offline, online. But at the heart, what I should do is I should first focus on my customer journey of where exactly my customers are, how providing better customer service, building on that exclusivity with our customer from wherever we start, and then multiply it to other channels, sales channels. Right? Would that make sense as a summary of?
I would say you should start online. It's much cheaper. Retail and fit out cost itself are so high. This is my view of that.
No, makes sense, makes sense.
So the starting cost in marketplace is the cheapest, for example. So that's the first way. Of course, it's a very product which requires touch and feel for a customer to start engaging. So then it's different, but otherwise marketplace is the cheapest starting cost to begin with. Then you can invest in building a brand a little bit. Then do the D2C and then continue with the offline expansion. Yeah, so that's the new generation way of looking at things.
Perfect. Makes sense. So thank you guys. I mean, it was a wonderful discussion, and I hope that you like this discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.